2 woods down, 2 more to go in the month of July here on Color Quest. Hi, I'm Margaret Byrd. So during this month, I am looking at 4 different woody substances that can bring about some pretty vibrant colors into our dye practice. So far, we've looked at sappanwood and Osage orange. Today, I'd like to move into the red realm, and that is with madder. Now, madder is a plant that we pull color from the root. And although madder isn't a tree per se, I'm going to put the root substance in that category because we will invite color in a similar fashion as we do with the other woods that we're looking at this month. So let's start soaking those madder roots and see what kind of surprising colors madder is willing to share with us. So today with madder, I'm going to be dyeing some produce bags, and these are actually different than what I did previously with the Osage. And what's cool about these bags is that the tear weight is already on the bags, and that is because the idea is to use them for fruits and vegetables, and when you weigh them, you'll know what to subtract out from the weight of the bag. So as with everything, you're gonna wanna weigh your fiber dry and see what it weighs before you do anything to it. We will need this weight today because we're gonna be looking at madder at 2 different strengths, one at 20% weight of fiber and the other at 100% weight of fiber. So with these bags, it's so super easy. I have 2 bags that are 24 grams and 2 that are 18 grams. We will do 1 of the 24 grams in the 20%, so we need to calculate that out. And then we're going to add the 3 other bags, 2 18 grams and 1 24 gram together for a total, and that will be what we're going to use for the 100% madder root version. Using these weights will guide us in how much madder root to weigh out next. Now, like we've done with the sappanwood and the Osage, and all woods really in general, we're going to need to soak the madder root. And we're gonna do that overnight or at least for several hours to start to loosen up the root itself. You could be soaking these roots for days before you actually dye anything with them. So give yourself that time whenever you're working with wood, or in this case, madder root, to allow it to soak in water. Now that we have our 2 weighed amounts, I will go ahead and cover them up with water. Make sure I give myself enough room so that the roots can absorb some of that water, which they will, and still remain submerged, and just get all that good water goodness and start soaking them. So while the madder root is soaking, it's a great time to talk about the fiber again, and that is the quick 3-step prep that we need to do for all fibers. First of all, we need to wash or scour our fiber. I already did that. You saw me working on that in last week's video. Second is we need to pre-treat with a mordant. Also already did that. These particular bags I pre-treated with an aluminum acetate mordant and then followed up with a calcium carbonate soak. That's also what we did with the Osage. So these bags are all prepped for that and ready to go. Now the third step is that we always want to be introducing wet material into our mordant bath or our dye bath or anything. Wet fiber is just ready to receive whatever it is you want to put at it. So make sure that you are soaking your fiber in water before you put it in the dye bath. A couple of special things about madder root. We are going to be leaving the root in the dye pot while we dye our fiber. Now you can always do that, and you can always remove it. If you're looking for real uniformity, sometimes you might have splotchy bits of the dye matter getting onto your material. A couple of ways around that is A, you can remove it, the dye matter that is, or you can invest in some kind of a mesh bag that you can either put your fiber in to allow it to be protected while moving around in the dye pot, or vice versa, you can put your dye matter into a mesh bag and it will stay separate from any fiber that you introduce. Now, I often strain out the material, but sometimes I don't. And with madder root in this particular instance, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just introduce the fiber into the pot with the madder root. And then we're going to start heating it up. So a little bit of wisdom around natural dyeing in general is time. Time is your friend. Take time. With this madder root, we are going to slowly heat it up. And we're going to start off at a lower temperature, let it simmer at that temperature for 30, 45 minutes, something like that, and then we'll slowly increase it. You're never going to want your dye to even come close to a boil. And with dyes that are red in particular, you have to be super cautious with the heat because it's very easy for the red to turn to brown. And madder root is one of these. So we want to gently introduce it to heat and slowly increase it to a nice, comfortable simmer. And we'll do that in stages. All right, we've got our 20% here and then our 100% here, and there is truly a difference in color. They have simmered, come up in temperature, and now cooled in their pot, so they've had a nice long amount of time to be sitting in here. And although we need to dry this fiber to really understand the color, you can tell it's going to be different. So I'm going to take these out now, rinse them, and hang them to dry, and then we'll move on to shifting. There's a good teaching moment. Exactly what I said. So because these sat in here with the roots and were in the pot for quite some time, this is where the root itself was touching the fiber directly for some length of time, and therefore it's darker. So this would have been something I could have avoided if I had that mesh bag to hold either the fiber or the dye matter. So just be aware. I don't mind it because of how I use my pieces of fiber, but you might not want something like that to appear. And after I strain these out, I'm going to keep them. And that is because I can use these for future exhaust baths, but also I am going to play around with using them for eco printing in a bundle dye fashion. Here are the results of the produce bags. So you can see this is the 100% madder. This is the 20% madder, so the two 24-ounce bags. And then these are the two smaller bags that I shifted. One being shifted with calcium carbonate over to the alkaline side, and this one being shifted by lemon juice over to the acidic side, and it in fact gave me 4 different colors, ever so slight. You'll notice that this color and the 20% have a similar tenor, much more orangish, whereas the 100% madder is definitely like this beautiful sort of orangey red. This, with the calcium carbonate, made it a little bit of a deeper red. Also looks really nice. So I'm super happy with how this all turned out. I also shifted with the iron, but I didn't have a bag to do that. Here is the iron shift. You will see this in the results of all the small pieces. This is a piece of cotton that's been treated with aluminum acetate. It looks pink against this, but it's more like a muted orange, and you'll see that when I show you the other pieces. So let's take a look at those. I'm gonna say it's super pretty. I really, really like how it turned out. It's official. I am a madder root fan. That palette of all those different fibers is spectacular, super vibrant and so varied. Now, the difference between the produce bags, which I used aluminum acetate and a calcium carbonate soak, and the pieces that were done in soy milk even have a different cast to them. So always think about how you might be able to expand your palette by trying different fibers, by using different mordants or binding pre-treatments, and just plain mixing it up. So we've now looked at some pinkish and fuchsia colors in sappanwood, some vibrant yellows in Osage, and orangey reds in today's video with madder. Next week, we're going to round out our wood exploration with purple, and that is in the form of logwood. I love this color. So I can't wait to see you next Friday as we continue our journey through different woods across the world that are fan favorites in the dye pot. Have a great week, and I will see you soon here on Color Quest. So far we've looked as a really loud bird. I think the bird wants to be on Color Quest.